Is everybody ready to admit that we have a white man problem in America? Or are you guys not ready for that conversation yet?
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today is October 2nd, and it's just really dawning on me, guys. I guess I have to apologize. I've made 9 videos in total since September 10th. That's way below my usual average. I've been a little bit distracted. We'll get into that into a future video. Or in a future video is what I should say. I'm just gonna go with a regular old school libtard video here. I just want to kind of get back to the roots. So I had a lot of catching up to do. I used my usual sources. I did a lot of searching on TikTok as well. I've gathered all sorts of clips. I'm a little bit behind here. You guys might see some stuff that you've already seen, but of course you're gonna have some stuff that you guys have not seen as of yet. It's just amazing. These people just don't stop. They get dumber and dumber and dumber as each day passes by on the calendar. Let's get into it.
Trump just said that the enemy is within. You guys, the enemy is within. The enemy is you. The enemy is me. The enemy is in Chicago and New York and Los Angeles and all the big cities. But don't worry, he's going to straighten them out. You guys, why is everyone so calm about this? Congress, representatives, all these people who are supposed to help and protect us, where are you? Why are you such human trash that you're not doing anything to defend our democracy? Can we impeach him yet? Can we impeach him yet? The stupidest people that are in our country are running our country, and it is infuriating. And not only are they stupid, they're evil. Why is everyone underreacting? Why is everyone just like, oh my gosh, this is scary, you guys? No, this is bad. This is the thing that we read in the history books, in our textbooks in school, and we thought, how do people just become schmazzies? How did that just happen? Like normal people. It's happening. The normal reaction should be this. And hold on, because I don't want to scare my children. This is what we should all be doing all day, every single day, like this. Why is everyone so goddamn calm? Like, what the fuck?
Only thing the rat can do is post memes and comments saying that it's the left doing most of these unalivings, because there are no statistics that show that.
Hi, how do we stop wanting to kill ourselves? I think so many people are so fucking stupid, and I don't want to be on the same plane as them anymore. I can't believe y'all exist. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? There's no reason to continue to do this. And we're just like here with idiots, and Donald Trump, also an idiot. There's no reason to keep living, but also I'm too much of a pussy to kill myself.
Could somebody take it out? Somebody please. Take one for the team.
Coffee time. It sounded like it did damage. So apparently, allegedly, Donald Trump is declaring war on major U.S. cities, saying that the enemies are within. Is this or is this not treason?
Good morning. I was watching a clip of the conversation, if you want to call it a conversation, more like the argument between Trump and Schumer yesterday. Trump's basically admitted that he is a dictator, that he will do whatever it takes to get his way, whether it's by force or by just doing whatever the hell he chooses to do, because there will be no repercussions. So my American friends, you are definitely in the full throes of a dictatorship. You're fully thrown into it now. When's it going to happen? That's all I want to know. When is it going to happen? Preferably sooner rather than later, because this man is a danger not only to the United States, he's a danger to the whole world. You have a criminal running that country who doesn't have a clue what he's doing. Couldn't care less if the government shuts down. puts thousands of people out of work, hurts the marginalized communities. He doesn't give a shit. He just wants to get his own way. So when's it going to happen? I'm just wondering, somebody want to maybe speed things up a little bit?
So I haven't had her on the channel in a little bit. I don't know if you guys remember her. She is Canadian, and she is a full-blown TDS-filled moronic idiot. She spends the majority of her videos, majority of her TikTok videos, guys, is just bitching and complaining about Donald Trump. Now, the funny thing is, this is where TDS proves to be extremely powerful. I mean, it's reached across the border. She's living in, I could say it myself because I live here. We are living in a country right now here in Canada where the government is slowly but surely trying to pass authoritarian bills. Now, you got to remember, we're under a monarchy from the United Kingdom, right? I'm not really going to speak about them, but you guys have seen what's going on over there in the United Kingdom. Canada's never usually too far behind. And the type of bills that they're trying to pass out here right now, to the point where they're trying to, like a thought crime bill, not just hate speech, but almost like a thought crime bill. They're trying to generally put together a hate speech bill. This is what's sitting in the House right now. Hopefully it gets shot the hell down. You can say something online, post up a meme that can be deemed hateful by somebody in specific communities, if you guys know what I'm talking about. And before you know it, you have police knocking at your door, hauling you off to jail. And they are trying to make this bill, depending on the strength of the hate crime, or I guess how severe the hate crime is that you commit. I don't know who determines what the hate crime is. You can spend up to life in prison. I think the first prison term is 5 years, anywhere from 5 years to life for a hate crime. What they deem as a hate crime, guys. That could just mean making fun of somebody's sexuality, because you know everybody is a flippin' snowflake nowadays, right? Everybody is soft as hell. You can't even have a sense of humor anymore. And then another bill they're trying to pass is where the government, if they deem it necessary, if they find that you're a threat of any sort, they can go through your mail, they can go through your computer, they can disconnect your internet, ban you from using the internet. So what do we have here? We have what looks like bills that they're trying to pass to censor whatever type of speech that they don't want to hear. But from a liberal's point of view, they don't really seem to see an issue with this, or they're just completely oblivious to it. It's sad that the people in Canada that voted left cannot see what they've done as of yet. Another thing to top it off, guys, the way how it works in Canada, when you have a new prime minister, and when they go into parliament, that's like, you know, our house out here, they have to present a budget. And the purpose of presenting the budget is so the whole house can vote like, hey, does this guy that we just elected as prime minister, does he know what he's doing? And if they disagree with the budget, that's every reason to trigger off a vote of no confidence and you go right back to election again. Mark Carney is the first prime minister in Canadian history. He's been prime minister for what, 5 months now? Going on 5 months? I think it is 5 months now. And he is yet to present a budget. Then they took the whole summer off and it's like, all right, when we get back after vacation, then I'm gonna present a budget. And they get back in September. It's like, oh, okay, we're gonna put out a budget in October for you guys to talk about. Now that's been delayed till the first week of November. And he's already trying to pass through billions of dollars of spending. He's already created what's projected to be a $100 billion deficit just this year alone, more than Trudeau. Right in front of Canadians' eyes, he is gutting the country apart. It's like a dead body being harvested for the organs. That's what Canada is right now. And liberals like this are too blind and dumb to see it. But then they have the nerve to sit there and talk about how Donald Trump is trying to run a dictatorship when they are living in what quite possibly very soon can be an authoritarian state. It's mind-baffling and absolutely amazing how clouded their thoughts are, how clouded their vision is. I mean, just look out there in the United States. How can the liberals, under Donald Trump's economy, which is not booming, it's not doing great, people don't have a whole bunch more money back in their pocket, but it's definitely better than it was under Joe Biden in pretty much, well, every single aspect, yet they'll never admit that. They still look at it like, hey, we're financially dying here under Donald Trump. And this is simply just out of the programmed hatred that they have for him. They already have forgotten, or they blocked it out in their minds, just how terrible things were under the Biden administration. And coming out in defense of the Trump administration here, lately I cannot agree with everything that they're doing. I don't really agree with how this whole situation has been handled with Charlie Kirk so far, but this has only been 3 weeks, right? I'm just not super comfortable with everything that's been going on there. But coming out in Donald Trump's defense, and the Trump administration's defense, they are doing everything else right. They're doing everything else by the books. If the left wants to look at it like, hey, he's turning authoritarian, he's turning into a dictator. I said this months ago. It's really too bad that more liberals don't watch my channel, because I stated clear as day, you guys are going to give him no other choice. How else do you expect him to react? In terms of like Portland, what the hell do you expect the guy to do? Sit there and let you guys put on ninja masks and attack ICE officers because you think that you're doing this in defense of illegal immigrants. They're not there legally. You guys really got to get this through your heads. They're not being disappeared like you want to pretend to the rest of the public either. What you're doing is interfering with law enforcement. You are committing treason against your own country. I've said it before, I guess I'll say it one more time. Many of you do not even deserve to be citizens of that country anymore. You're working against the interests of your own country. So at that point, you have no choice, if you're in Donald Trump's position, to look at these citizens as domestic terrorists and label them as the enemy from within. Doesn't mean he's declaring war on them, how they all want to put it. It does not mean he's going to wipe them out off the face of the earth, as they all want to put it as well. But he most definitely needs to handle the problem. If you guys are going to continue to get in the way, he needs to knock you guys the hell out of the way. If you want to call that a dictatorship, so be it.
So, those of you who do not protest, do not do the occupation at ICE detention centers and stuff like that, do you know what's going on? Do you know that the president himself has threatened to directly wipe us out, us Portland protesters? Like, wipe us out means he wants to kill us. And now he has designated us as a terrorist organization. How are we an organization? Like, we are literal random people who showed up to protect our communities. That's who we are. And now we're fucking terrorists for standing on a sidewalk and saying some hilariously mean things to fucking Nazis. So, yeah, like, this is bad. Are you people who are not on the street paying attention? Because they are going to kill your activist friends. Like, flat out kill us. And, as from what I'm seeing from the dialogue, y'all will blame us. So, I don't know what you expect to happen here, but they're not gonna fucking stop with us.
Why in the fuck did I just hear an ICE commercial on Pandora? Where the fuck do I live? What the fuck? What the fuck?
I don't understand how there are still people in America who don't realize we are under a dictatorship. I do not understand how there are people in this country who don't realize that we are headed towards civil war and we are either going to fight back or we're going to get fucking trampled. I don't understand how some of y'all still don't fucking understand what is happening, but I really hope that you've gotten yourselves ready and prepared in your own neighborhood, because, oh my God, it's coming for your backyard next. Watch.
Well, they found a way to spin it. Yeah, no, there's not a single mention of him being MAGA, conservative, Trumper. No, it's an attack on Christianity. I called it. They were going to use the one at the church. Out of all the 6 mass shootings yesterday, many of them being older white Republican dudes, open Trump supporters, they were going to pick the one at the church and use that to spin it to their base as an attack on Christianity. MAGA on X and Truth Social are saying that Mormons are just as bad as the left and that they should just get rid of them too because they're poisoning real Christians. These people are psychotic. They are pandering violence to a psychotic base that will believe anything they are told, and in lieu of real evidence and facts, will just plug in their own information.
I don't like how my last video made it seem like we might be hopeless around this motherfucker, so why sit here and puff paw and allow me to put forth a plan? I've been thinking about this shit for several weeks, and I can't really come up with nothing else that even might work, and I'm not sure this will, but here we go. We gotta somehow get between 10 and 30 million people to the Capitol, park their asses on the front lawn, and leave them there until Congress capitulates. The rest of us will have to physically and financially support these people and their families for an extended period of time. We gotta make it where they cannot do a goddamn thing in Washington, D.C. without wading through a sea of people so dense it takes them 45 minutes to move 5 motherfucking feet. And we give the government exactly two choices. Either they get rid of the entire regime, bring them all up on charges, and put their asses under the prison, or they commit heinous acts against humanity against its own people. Short of that, I don't see this ending without a whole lot of fucking bloodshed. I'm not calling for it. I'm just telling you where it's gonna go. Now, if anyone has any other ideas, I am all ears and would love to hear them, so let me know. Now, y'all have you a wonderful evening. Keep the motherfucking boots out of your motherfucking mouth, and remember that the golden rule always remains: ye all fuck the law. I love y'all, and I'll see you down the line.
All right, so he just said that his previous video before this one here, he felt like as if he may have given people the message or the feeling, the impression, like as if he's down and defeated. So this was supposed to be his talk to like give people inspiration again. And it was a really stupid flippin' idea. Anybody with a calculator can dissect and find all the problems in it right here. Now he's saying, okay, all we need to do is get, somehow 10 to 30 million people to park their asses in front of the White House on the lawn. He knows they all can't fit in the lawn. I mean, if you guys just seen a couple weeks ago, when they were out protesting in the United Kingdom, they had 3 million people on the streets. And if you looked at the camera panning, it was just people everywhere. So let's just take his theory here, right? Let's say 10 million. He said 10 to 30 million. So 10 million. You're already gonna have a problem fitting 10 million people outside. But then what becomes a real big problem in his plan here, he's saying, okay, and the rest of us are going to have to financially support them and their families for an extended period of time. So let's just do a little bit of math here. They're going to need per person at least, and this is the bare minimum, $100 a day to survive, because you got to assume that this is going to be, like, say, for instance, to give you guys an example, the husband is going to be going out there. He's got a wife and kids at home that rely on him for support. So he can't go to work. The public who's up for this whole, I guess, weird, wacky protest that he wants to put together, they got to support him. So $100 a day minimum, $3,000 a month to run his household. And in today's economy, whether you're in America or Canada, $3,000 a month is just cutting it. So this is where it gets kind of fun. Where's this money gonna come from? Let's just say there's 340 million people in the United States. Only half of them are, on the side of right. Let's say the other half is on the side of left. Let's be as fair as we can here. So 170 million people. However, 170 million people didn't come out and vote for the left. So let's just take the voter numbers. You're looking at 75 million. But now what we have to do is we have to knock off 10 million, because obviously 10 million of those people are people that would have voted left that are now sitting on the White House lawn. But you know what? Screw that. Let's just even be generous. Let's count it as 75 million people that are each donating money on a daily basis. Now, if you break this down, this works out to be $13.33 a day per person. Times that by 30, you're looking at $390 a month. Not everybody can afford $390 a month. And now that's considering that it's just 10 million people. If this was 30 million people like he's trying to get, well, that'd be less people that would be donating on a daily basis, but we'll still keep the number at 75 million. You're looking at $1,200 a month per person. Nobody can afford this. So just financially alone, it's a massive, epic fail. Think about every person would have to be able to dish out. We'll go back to down, to 10 million people out there protesting, $390 a month. Now, maybe it just lasts 1 month. So $390 in their mind, well spent. But what's it really going to accomplish if they were able to pull this off? It's just going to cause chaos in the streets. But from the left's point of view, that's what they love to do, right? Either way, if that was supposed to be his bright spot at the end of the tunnel, it's still not a very good bright spot. You lefties are getting very desperate at this point. You guys should really just slow down, detach your emotion, and really analyze the whole situation and come to a realization that if you guys just stopped getting in the way and let this administration do their jobs, which has been completely lawful. They're not violating the Constitution like you guys want to repeatedly say. Everything has been done lawful. They are just trying to protect your borders. They're trying to get people that are there illegally out and back home. You guys got to stop assuming that every single person that came across your borders from an oppressed country and they're just there for a better life. They are there to milk off of your system. That's what they were doing under the Biden administration. Now, I know all you lefties are like, well, no, they can't get benefits. That would be illegal. They can't vote. That would be illegal. What the hell were they doing on voter rolls then? If you guys with your, amazing critical thought and pattern recognition, all that other stuff, if you guys cannot see what your Democrat Party was doing by opening up their border walls and letting people flood in over the past 4 years, you're not as smart as you think you are. And then just in closing, it's always you guys stating, from the left, it's always stating, people on the right are begging for a civil war. It's funny because that's not what I've been hearing. And I watch a lot of videos. It's always coming from the left. Now, I'm not talking about political violence. That's a whole other conversation. I'm talking about this whole talk of revolution and civil war. It's 100% coming from the left. The only thing you'll hear from the right is people saying, you guys want it, all right, but it's not gonna end very well. You really gotta think about it. You're outnumbered. You guys are 33% against 66%. And I don't just mean on the voter rolls. That's not what I'm talking about. But you're looking about the entire military and then everybody who's on the right side of history. They're all on the same team, especially after what happened on September 10th. Believe me, there's a lot more people that are on your soil that don't see the same way that you guys do.
Oh, I had a good fucking laugh this morning. You know how many times in the last 9 months MAGA has gotten themselves riled up with their own lies, saying, well, I don't know jack shit about the economy, but Trump and his tariffs and all the waste and fraud that he's gonna find with Doge in the government is gonna be so good for the American people. Again, I don't know jack shit about the economy, but he says he's gonna find all this waste and fraud and he's gonna take all this money and he's gonna like reallocate it and refund it for the American people. He's gonna make America great again. He can be so great for the American economy. Yeah, how's that been going? Where are those refund checks at? Because what I do know is I woke up to a nice blue inflation refund check from the state of New York because of how shitty the U.S. economy is, because of certain someone playing fucking yo-yo with the U.S. economy on a global scale. Yeah, the failed businessman that has nothing but a bunch of failed businesses behind him is never going to be good for the U.S. economy, no matter how much y'all keep lying to yourselves about it. But what I do know is that blue states that are actually going to do the good shit, are actually going to be making the money, are actually going to be taking care of their people, and, you know, maybe I'll just use this money to get a nice, thorough abortion. Maybe some Taco Bell after.
A drunk Fox News host who can't do 2 legitimate chin-ups, and a 5-time draft dodger, felon, lecturing our military about going to war against American cities. Sick.
I'll tell you what is terrorism. Putting on things that you know trigger most of the population, like MAGA hats, going to colleges or public spaces, and walking around in them going, see, I'm not scared. Boy, I bet you if I put my hand on your chest like Dexter Morgan, your heart is racing, you're so afraid. You can see it. What if someone just punched your ass? They should.
Well, we're apparently all the way through the fucking looking glass now. The GOP and MAGA went from release the Epstein files to Ted Cruz saying stop attacking pedophiles. That's where we're at right now. They are fully on board with pedophilia. Does this surprise anyone?
There's so much left to say, but is there really anything left to say? Every fucking day, it is something new with this fucking prick. Every day. I work in mental health, and people are exhausted. I'm exhausted from this rhetoric, from this nonsense. It's every single day. There is something that he does that is jaw-dropping and like a what the fuck moment. It's unfucking real. The people that voted for this man are fucking idiots. Absolutely fucking idiots.
Well, it's a little bit harsh at the end, but I can state the same thing right back to lefties. Anybody that thought the Biden administration was the better way to go, well, you're kind of effing idiots yourself, because if you couldn't see that you were all digging your own graves, Well, that's exactly what was happening. You guys were letting your own country be destroyed from within, and it looked pretty damn intentional. Now, once again, as a little friendly reminder to all of you liberals out there, you guys had no issue with any other previous president that was enforcing immigration policy, as long as his name was not Donald J. Trump. It's just all in your programming. You guys have been so deeply propagandized that you just honestly cannot see right through it. The programming is too deeply embedded for you all to be able to understand now that you're on the wrong side here. Whatever Donald Trump says, you guys just want the opposite. If Donald Trump said, hey, let's open the borders, you know what? Asylum for everybody. Let all the countries just come on in. You guys would be demanding the border walls closed. After the whole Tylenol situation last week, I mean, that was a smaller example, but you guys pretty much will prove the meme that's always been out there. If Donald Trump endorsed oxygen, you guys would stop breathing. If Donald Trump told people, don't jump in the ocean and try and hold your breath for 5 minutes, well, there wouldn't be any liberals left. When they first suggested, it was some Republican senator or congressman last year was talking about actually classifying Trump derangement syndrome as a full-blown mental illness. I found it was funny. It looked more like a trolling situation that they were actually going to try and like pass this bill through. It was, you know, it looked like a troll. But since Trump has been back in office, it's starting to look a little bit more validated. You guys are completely out of control. When it comes to your TDS, it's impossible, even in Canada, it's impossible to hold a civil conversation with somebody who leans left when it comes to Donald Trump. Even out here on this side of the border, they are completely programmed into thinking orange man bad. Now, you know, we didn't catch on right away, but say for instance, when it comes to cancel culture or smear tactics, smear jobs, it's starting to become pretty obvious at this point. When there's an intentional smear, it's usually the same playbook too. And it's always the same playbook too, always the same tactics used. But it's starting to get pretty obvious at this point, whoever they're trying to cancel, whoever they're trying to smear, whoever they're trying to block, and whoever they're trying to censor is maybe who we should be paying attention to. Because it's become evident from the previous administration that it's not about safety. It's not about, hey, this is endangering the public. With everything that the Biden administration lets slide, they obviously do not care about the public's safety. It always seems to be a hidden agenda behind it. Stuff that we cannot talk about on platforms like this, even though this platform claimed last week that they're going to lighten up on the censoring. But if you liberals are truly trying to figure out how to stop with the daily Trump shock, how to stop thinking about Trump before you go to sleep every night, how to stop thinking about Trump when you first get up in the morning, how to stop Trump from appearing on the news left, right, and center, maybe get out of his way. You guys have never done this before to any other previous administration, except for the previous Trump administration, but you guys are really trying to kick it into overdrive this time. You guys didn't do this to Biden, you didn't do this to Obama, you didn't do this to Clinton, you didn't even do this to the younger Bush. And in reality, what is Trump doing that's so extremely different than all these other previous presidents? The only thing that you guys will want to point out, and it's not accurate, it's not correct, well, he's taking away all of our rights. As a woman, it's so hard to live in America now. As a black individual, this is one of the scariest countries to live in. Listen to yourselves. You haven't truly lost any rights. If you're a lazy person that's been sitting on your ass collecting Section 8, and you're completely capable of working, and you're not getting $2,000 a month in food stamps anymore, well, that's because you're fully capable of working, and the government is saying enough is enough. But besides that, nobody's lost any human rights. You guys keep jumping in front of cameras, hitting record, complaining to the world about how Donald Trump is taking away all of your human rights, when anybody, even just relying on Google, can jump on and figure out these liberals are full of shit.
Hey Republicans, it's me again. I'm not giving up hope on you guys. Eventually, your light bulbs are going to turn on. So I want to do a little homework assignment with you. Last night, we talked about farmers getting socialism. Tonight, I want you to explain to me how it's the Democrats' fault if the government shuts down. I literally want you to explain that to me. Because this is where they insult you. They have you so convinced that it's the Democrats. But it's the Republicans that control every fucking branch. So, do your research. and explain it to me. Tell me how it's the Democrats' fault when Republicans control it all. Okay? I'll be looking forward to reading those answers, alright? We got this, folks. You'll wake up eventually, and it'll be okay. But I'm not giving up on you yet.
Exactly what shade of shit is Trump spreading on his face now? Did you see his speech at the UN? He looks like he's covered in shit.
So the Republicans are shutting down the government because they want to tack on anti-trans legislation onto the budget bill. And all I'm hearing as a trans person, like, give it up. You guys are obsessed. You're so obsessed with us. They're willing to shut down the government over me. Okay, do it.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but this is the week that it happens. This week, it's gonna happen. We got this. Let's do this. I love you. Bye.
Donald Trump intends to use the United States military against American citizens who simply disagree with him. People he calls, quote, the enemy from within. America, this is not a candidate for president who is thinking about how to make your life better. This is someone who is unstable, obsessed with revenge, consumed with grievance, and out for unchecked power.
Political violence in this country is almost exclusively the purview of the right wing and has been for decades. The last time there was any significant amount of left-wing political violence in the United States was the 70s, with groups like the Weather Underground, who mostly destroyed property. There's never been a significant left-wing movement to actually hurt humans in this country, unless you count, opposing slavery and fighting the Civil War as, political violence, which I guess you could say it was. But America's history is one of extreme right-wing violence. And that is just what we're seeing more and more of now with all of these assassinations. And I mean, even September 11th, that was right-wing violence. Islamic fundamentalists are the right-wing version of Islam. Pretty much all political violence in this country is from the right wing. The left in this country won't even use violence to defend themselves or their neighbors. I mean, it's honestly kind of pathetic and concerning how unwilling to use violence even in self-defense or community defense the left really is in this country. Meanwhile, the right will gladly shoot their own friends and family members and people that they're big fans of for slight disagreements. And they will hunt down, Democrat politicians and random trans kids on the internet because Fox News told them to, or because some groyp or influencer told them to. These people, they vote for violence. They want the government to constantly enact violence on minority groups. That's their entire political standpoint, really. Their whole platform is, we want all of our tax dollars to go towards violence. They don't want health care. They don't want better jobs. They don't want to be economically competitive with the rest of the world. They just want to punish poor people. They want to punish minorities. They want to punish people of color. They want to punish LGBTQ people. They want to punish immigrants. They want to use political violence as frequently as possible. They want their representatives to order political violence against their perceived enemies and any outgroup that happens to be trendy to hate on this week, because they are addicted to violence. There is no right-wing philosophy that is based on anything except for extreme violence against outgroups.
Now, guys, I have watched probably thousands of clips from leftists since last November. I don't know if I've ever seen a single clip that has so much projection in it. And that's like a 3-minute long clip, and there was so much projection. We've used him on the channel before. This guy's an absolute nut job. And I'm not just saying that because of this one clip here. I'm saying that because in previous clips, he's put out clips of violence when it had to do with the whole Abrego Garcia situation and the ICE situation. He just put out another clip very recently that I'm gonna throw somewhere else in this video so you guys can see it, where he was talking about abducting ICE officers that are off duty by kidnapping them.
What if groups of concerned citizens found out ICE agents' identities and then started kidnapping them when they were off the clock? This is a satire.
But it's becoming clearly evident that, you know, I hate to use harsh words because, you know, eventually in my country this might be considered as hate speech, but you liberals are just so damn stupid. It's incredible. Or so damn dishonest. There's only two of you. There's really only two kinds. There's the ones that are out there knowing that they are projecting and lying, or there's ones out there that are completely daft, dumb, stupid, it's ridiculous. Now, you know the worst thing is, I've taken clips like this in the past and I've jumped on like ChatGPT, I've jumped on Grok, I've used AI. Now again, the reason why I'll use AI is I don't rely on it to give me super accurate information, but it is a search engine that's on steroids. It scrapes the internet extremely fast from multiple sources, and you gotta kind of wean it down from there. But what you come to learn very, very quickly is that AI is super woke because of all the resources that it pulls information from. So it will at first agree with an individual like this. It'll make it look like, well, right extremists. So I've asked AI in the past, why do you label it as right extremism? Well, because it has to do with neo-Nazis and racism. Like, I've really had to pretty much, well, corner ChatGPT, corner Grok, to the point where it's almost apologizing to me because I've had to debate it. So if I have this much trouble pulling real, truthful answers out of AI, can you just imagine what a leftist goes through? Because they'll believe the first 2-3 things that AI throws at them. This guy might truly believe that 73% of all political violence comes from the right and 4% only comes from the left. When we know in reality, especially over, say, the past decade, the political violence drastically much more on the left. Even look at the whole Charlie Kirk situation. Now, I've said it myself, I'm not a big fan of the narrative of Tyler Robinson, but that's what we're going with right now. They've put out what would be considered evidence that Tyler Robinson was not a right-wing individual. He may have come from a conservative family, but he's radicalized by the left. They've put out enough proof of this at this point. But all it took was one person, I don't even know from where, not sure what the source is, to state, oh, he was a groyper, and that's what they all want to go with. It's absolutely just, it's mind-blowing how incredibly gullible and easy to propagandize you leftists are. And this we can thank Barack Obama by making that amendment to the Smith-Mundt Act, right? That's totally what it comes down to. And if you guys really think about it, it wasn't all that long ago. Look how much damage has been done to the liberal mind. But at the end of the day, there's absolutely no point of arguing with these people. Even if you present them with facts, they run away. They stick to their narrative no matter what. They either, again, are way too dumb to understand, they can only believe what's been deeply embedded and programmed into their brains, or they know the reality of everything that's going on, but it doesn't really matter because they're a sick, evil leftist at the end of the day anyway, so they just want to keep pushing the narrative even though it's completely dishonest. Or you have the real sick and twisted ones, the ones that are fully aware because their subconscious mind lets them know something is wrong with this narrative I'm trying to push, but I don't want to admit that it's wrong. So not only am I going to lie to everybody else, I'm going to lie so much where I'm going to try and convince myself. And this is one thing you liberals really need to learn. Repeating a lie over and over and over may work on you guys. That's how the programming is done. But repeating a lie over and over and parroting it to other liberals does not make the lie come true. It does not make it real. At the end of the day, it's still a lie. And what happens at the end of the day? The truth always gets uncovered. No matter how much you guys want to deny it, no matter how much you guys want to try and cover it up, no matter how much you guys want to try and memory hold things and just pretend that it never happened, at the end, truth always comes out. And you know what the worst part is about this guy? This is the cherry on the cake here, guys. He is a teacher And you guys know how I feel about that. I cannot stand a propagandizing teacher that wants to push their worldviews on students. And if anybody in the world is going to try and convince me that this guy's not standing in front of his class, popping his eyeballs way open, and saying these exact same lines that he just said to his camera to his students, I call bullshit. This guy's a complete loon job, not fit to be teaching children, and should be removed from his job immediately. All right, guys, that is going to be it for this video. From this day forward here, I'm going to try and get back to my regular daily uploading schedule. I did not mean to leave you guys hanging, but this is my first time recording a video in I think about 5 days. I wasn't able to jump in front of the camera and give it my all, so I didn't even bother jumping in front of the camera to hit record once. Once again, even as you guys were able to see from the comments, I've been a little detached and a little bit distracted lately, but let's start getting back into the swing of things here. So with that being said, you guys take care, you guys stay safe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one, guys.
Okay, so I know this is going to ruffle some feathers, but it needs to be said, and please know that I am coming from a place of love because I know that your efforts come from a good place. But white liberals, you are not saving the Black community. You are holding us back. It's not allyship, it's enabling. You excuse destructive choices, you lower the bar, you hand out sympathy instead of standards, and you call that progress. Here's the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. We're not the only group with a painful past. Jewish people survived genocide and rebuilt. Asian immigrants came here with nothing and built thriving businesses and schools. We don't hand them safe spaces. We don't rewrite laws to excuse their failures. We don't glorify victimhood for anyone else. So why is that standard different for us? We built an entire system around the lie that Black people can't compete, and we call it justice. DEI, affirmative action, safe spaces, watered down schools, and even lighter sentences for crime. That's not empowerment. That's soft bigotry dressed up as compassion. And it's all causing more harm than good to the Black community. It whispers you're too weak, too damaged, too broken to do this on your own. And we've accepted that lie for far too long. We don't need your pity. We don't need you to lower the bar. We need to be held to the same standard as everyone else. Because true empowerment doesn't come from being coddled. It comes from being called higher. Charlie Kirk said this over and over again. He asked Black America to stop fixating so much on our race and our difficult history. He encouraged everyone from every background and walk of life to make their past a reference, not their residence. And sadly, his honesty caused him to be labeled a racist, despite the fact that he was simply telling us the hard truth. So here's my challenge for white liberals. Stop lowering the bar for us. Stop designing programs that assume that we can't win without a handicap. If you truly believe in Black excellence, then treat us like the powerful, capable, brilliant people that we are. Stand with us, not over us. Walk beside us, not ahead of us. And Black people, if you're still here, slavery happened, oppression exists, but our history is also full of resilience and brilliance. Research Frederick Douglass and Booker T. Washington and Madam C.J. Walker. We've been free for 150 years, but somehow we feel justified in marinating in our victimhood while holding a $1,000 iPhone, rocking $200 shoes, and having nothing and no one standing in our way but ourselves. Pick up your mat and walk.